So we're going to start on the ground, foam rolling the TFL. The easiest way to find your TFL is if you were wearing shorts or pants that had pockets, and you were to slide your hands into the pockets. The muscle that your hand is lying on, that's your TFL. Couple precautions: we do not want to roll over the head of the femur. So if you were to stick your hip out, that hard bump right there, I don't want you putting weight on that and rolling over that. I want you to go in the top of the hip and then, like I said, down through that pocket muscle. So what it will look like is you're going to come down onto the foam roller. We're going to start in the top of the hip. I'm going to internally rotate my leg, so my toes are pointing more toward the wall. I'm on my elbows, and I'm going to start with just some small movements through the front of the muscle. We're trying to keep our quad nice and relaxed, okay? So this left leg, dead weight as much as you can. That's one of the keys to foam rolling. The other being, we don't want to hold our breath. So if this is so painful that you are holding your breath, it's too much, okay? So that's your sign to kind of, this one's not for you. So like I said, I'm working in the top of my hip, then I'm going to move down an inch or two. I'm going to roll through that area, and I'm going to keep working my way down till I get about midway down my thigh. That's about as far as we need to go. All right, and you might find one spot's more tender than others, and you can put more focus there. And you want to make sure we work on both sides. All right, so that's your TFL. From there, I'm going to grab a tennis ball, and we're going to go around back. So we're going to work on deep hip rotators. So these are those muscles. If you can reach around and you find your sits bone, so that bony knob in the bottom of the butt, all right? We want to work between that and the outside of the hip. So these deep lower glute muscles is what we're going to focus on. Once we release that, we can also come up and work a little bit on the piriformis, which is pretty much you're going to focus on the outside of your sacrum and then come around to the side of the hip. So we're going to do those two areas. You got your tennis ball. We're going to come against the wall. We're going to go on the outside of the sits bone. And I'm just going to kind of take a lateral roll. So I'm going to kind of roll around toward the outside of my hip and back. Same rules apply. Try to keep your glutes relaxed. Try to not tense up. Try to take some deep breaths as you roll. It's going to be much more effective. So once we get that released on each side, we can take the same lacrosse ball, tennis ball, and go up into the piriformis. So underneath your SI joint, we never really want to roll over bone. All right, and we're going to do the same lateral movement. I'm going to lean back. I'm going to try to relax my glutes. Deep breaths. Roll toward the outside of the hip and back towards the sacrum SI joint. Okay. So that's our TFL. That's our deep hip rotators. That's our piriformis. From here, we're going to come back down. Our last foam rolling, we're going to get into adductors. So I'm going to show you from the front. It's a little easier to see. I'm going to take my foam roller and I'm going to lie it diagonal next to me. I'm going to come down onto my belly and I'm going to bring my leg up and over the foam roller like this. So my knees bent at 90, my legs nice and relaxed, I'm not gripping. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll into the top of my adductor, which is basically kind of like rolling toward the groin, and I'm going to roll back down to my knee. I'm going to breathe while I move, roll in toward the groin, back down toward the knee. Okay, so from the side, just to give you a slightly different angle, I bring my leg up and over. I want to make sure that my leg is not bent up past hip height, that it's a little bit more relaxed down, okay? And I'm going to roll into this, up into the groin, and I'm gonna come back down towards the knee. That's your adductors. So those are gonna be our 3 soft tissue exercises to kind of get things to down-regulate, loosen up, let go, release some tension. From here, we're gonna go into a breathing exercise. So pillows are super helpful to just give you some support so that you can relax into the movement. I'm gonna give you a couple options with this. So if you tend to have tight hips, it can feel good to put one in the back to kind of meet you halfway so you're not holding yourself up or you're not forcing your hips into too much flexion. That's just not natural. So I can tuck that back there. I can come over into my child's pose here. The other option is if folding too far forward at your hips is uncomfortable and you're finding it's pinchy or you just have a lot of tension trying to get into that, you can take a pillow and you can fold over it in front. And same thing, it's just gonna kind of meet you where you're at. So you can do one, both, none, whatever feels good for your body. Once you get into position, your goal is gonna be to take a big inhale through the nose. Try to get your back to expand with that inhale. Try to keep your butt and your pelvic floor nice and relaxed. All right, so I'm here, my shoulders, head, neck are relaxed. I'm gonna breathe into my back. I'm gonna exhale, relax. Inhale into my back. Exhale, relax. Okay, so glutes, pelvic floor, back, looking to get expansion into those areas that tend to hold a lot of tension. Okay, another good option with this one, if you have a lot of tension on one side over the other, you can take this, you can fold forward, you can work your way over to one side, and then focus on breathing into the opposite side. So I'm here, nice and relaxed, head, neck, and shoulders relaxed. I'm gonna inhale into this space here. Exhale, relax. All right, always getting that inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Okay? And then our last one is just gonna be an adductor rock back. So range of motion on this one really depends on the person. If your adductors are very, very tight, we're probably not gonna go that far, and that's fine. Go to what your body allows you to. So I'm gonna start on all fours, and I'm gonna take one leg directly out to the side, okay? The goal is to keep my sits bones reaching straight back and to avoid this tucking motion where I'm really just pulling more on my low back than actually stretching my adductor. So in this position, this may be enough for you. You feel a stretch in your inner thigh. You can just hold, take a big inhale, exhale, and try to relax, get some length. If you feel like you have a little bit more movement in your range of motion, you can inhale as you rock back. So I reach my sits bones back, exhale, rock forwards. So I make sure that I stop before my hips start to tuck under and I start getting that pull on my back. Okay, so right about there is where my range of motion is. And back. And that's your adductor rock back.